Trick camera. Supposing a fella plays golf. I'm not a big into golf myself. And he has a golf club or some place where he can have a bit of peace. And he has a good cameraman with him. And a hole-in-one is where you tee off and you put the ball straight into the pocket over on the green at long distance. It's rare enough to do and it's not easy done. So if the man with the camera films him, and we'd say the chances of getting a hole-in-one with one shot like that is very remote. So what to do is he films him 5,682 times and he didn't get it in yet, and he comes back the next day and he films him 4,383, and on the 4,884th shot he gets it into the hole. So it's around 1 in 9,000. He made 9,000 efforts to get it into the hole, to put it into the hole using the tee off the club, is it, the big one, and he got it once. Well, what happens then is they delete all the rest and they go on social media and show that one. Oh, look at Dick Maguire. He got a hole-in-one. Showed him coming out and he got a hole-in-one. Isn't that something else? That's a great player. I was just lucky, or was this, that and the other. In actual fact, it's trick camera. It's cheating. It's cheating. Now, I remember years ago there was a Dixon fella or something, the magicians on the telly. Every one of them were trick camera. They put the woman in the box, they stopped the camera, they took her out, they reshot the camera again because the box didn't move, and they stuck swords all into it, all over the place. They left them there, they done a big drum roll, they stopped the camera, they took the swords out, they stopped the camera, they put her back into the box, and then they ran the camera again and they took her out hale and hearty and not a bother. It's amazing how many people don't believe that, but all of that. And then Paul Daniels had a program when the video camera came out first. There was very few video cameras, there were very few videotapes, homemade. But Paul Daniels had ones of children falling into ponds, children walking along and falling, and sometimes if you looked at it closely, you'd see the child didn't fall at all. The child was running and the camera was stopped, and then they put the child down in the muck and stood back and filmed them, and there was a wee break there. So it was all conjured up, it was all a cod, it was all a cheat or a lie or whatever you like to call it. Or to show somebody sitting down on a chair and the back legs would go out of the chair and they'd go all up in the air and everything else. Well, from a health and safety point of view, it wouldn't be great. But how was the camera there? The answer was it was all trick camera. All trick camera. And all of the films that you watch are trick camera. All of those. Well, they use stuntmen a bit, like in James Bond films and all that, and things like that. And there is a bit of acting in them, but by and large, they're trick camera. Most of that quick draw stuff in America was fake. That never happened. There was only a couple of instances where there was any kind of a thing like that. One was John Wesley Harding. He was sleeping in a boarding house in South Dakota, in Deadwood, and there was a fella next door snorting his head off, and he annoyed Harding that much that Harding took out an 1851 Colt revolver and he fired a shot above where your man would be. He didn't intend to kill him. He fired it high up, and your man got such a fright that he stood up in the bed. He got up in the bed, not stood. He sat up in the bed. Sat up in the bed, and Harding fired again, not knowing he had sat up, and shot him dead through the head. That happened. Wild Bill Hickok killed a man over a watch in, I think it was Kansas somewhere, now don't quote me on that, at 75 yards. He fired at him with the 1851 revolver, which was about the power of a modern 38, not a 38 special, or a weak 38.38, and he hit him straight in the heart and killed him. That's one of the few instances of that. So this idea of two people meeting each other on the street and wait till who draws first, I mean, who in their right mind would go into a deadly combat and if you had a gun, with a lad with a gun and the gun in your holster? Surely if there's a mad fella on the town and he was shooting people up the town and he was coming near you and you ran into some man who gave you out his shotgun, you were hardly going to put it in the car. You were going to hold it up like this when he came down, either run away or say stop and you might have to fire at them. The last thing you do is hide your gun. That's all a cod. There is a concept of quick draw with revolvers, mostly Colt type 1873 revolvers, single action revolvers. And there was a fella Munden, I think was his name, Bob Munden in America, and he was deadly fast. He was deadly fast, and he had his gun all done up to be slick and filed properly and everything else. And he was really, really fast, but he was never in any kind of a combat. Never. He was in the Guinness Book of Records that timed him with an electronic device. And he died of a heart attack at 69, just dropped dead in the car at 69. He was super fast. He was a showman at that type of thing. So a lot of that old stuff is a cod. It's amazing how many people think it's not. Well, I think most people realise a film is a cod, really. It's really a form of escapism. You look at the outlaw Josie Wales to move you back to a different time and a different era and immerse yourself in it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just to make this point that a lot of what people are given on the media, and indeed some of what they're being told by other people, is all lies. It doesn't wash. And most good wise people can spot a bluffer 100 mile away. They know pretty quick. Right, folks, we let you go at that. It's getting chilly, and we get the heating on now, and talk to you, and we see you back for something else. But that's the story. A lot of trick camera. A lot of the magic is all trick camera. Any of these tricks, there is some of these tricks can be done, but they're still done by means of sleight of hand and tricks and working out mathematical formulas, or how cards will produce a certain result if you mix them in a certain way. And that's all known beforehand. They're not going to tell you. So, and just before I leave, a man was saying to me today, if everybody understood counting and maths, the bookies would be out of business. People have realised that the whole bookmaking industry is all fixed. You can't win. You can't beat them. So I'm just making that point. Good luck. Talk to you later. Bye.